ping scan example.com. So here you can see our Claude desktop has successfully only performed the ping scan on this example.com. Scan top 10 ports on example.com. Let's use famous. We can see it's working. So here you can see after a few seconds, we have got the output of the top 10 famous ports on example.com. Email my other Gmail account about current Iran war situation. In my email client in the Outlook, I can see I have successfully received the email. So as you can see, if you're not into coding and you wanted to keep it very easy and graphical, you can also use N10. Let's test it. Send a GET request to example.com using verb suite. Here we can see it is loading the tools, and now it is sending the HTTP request to the example.com. We can see the request was sent successfully using verb suite. We can see all the requests and responses. So let me show you how easy it is to integrate any of your tools with AI. In this video, the 3 tools we are going to integrate are basically Nmap, Verb Suite, and Gmail. But basically using the same technique, you can integrate any of your tools with AI very easily. We are going to achieve this goal using a very famous technique called MCP, which is Model Context Protocol. If you don't know what that is, don't worry, it's very simple. Using this technique, you can integrate tools in your AI chatbot. So your AI chatbot is not just there to chat with you. You have actually equipped your chatbot with the tools, and that AI chatbot now can perform actual things on your system. So without further delay, let's get into it straight. Right now you can see I've installed Nmap on my machine. Now my goal is to integrate that Nmap into my AI chatbot as well. For this purpose, I've installed the Claude desktop on my system as well. Now you may ask, why not ChatGPT? Why Claude desktop? In this case, the only reason is that because the Nmap is running on my local machine, the ChatGPT is not able to integrate with it. You understand? My laptop, my machine is currently not on the live IP. It does not have a public IP. So ChatGPT needs to access the Nmap running on my machine in order to integrate with it, which is not possible because my laptop is on private machine. It's behind CGNet. So that's why I've installed Claude desktop on my machine. Now both my Nmap and both the Claude desktop are on the same machine. They are on my local machine, so they will be able to interact with it, right? So there are only two simple steps when it comes to integrating your tool with the AI chatbot. The step one is to create the MCP server for that tool, right? And the second step is to integrate that MCP server into your AI chatbot, in this case, Claude desktop. So this server.py you are seeing, this is basically the MCP server configuration for that Nmap tool. Now don't worry, you do not need to code all of this yourself. You can easily ask ChatGPT or even Claude desktop, and it can easily generate this for you, and you can then mess around, troubleshoot until this is going to work for you. So as you can see what is happening here, this MCP is basically in the Python. You can use any other language, but for easiness, let's go with the Python. So first of all, what you can see, we are importing a library called FastMCP. And this library, FastMCP, is the most well-known library when it comes to MCP servers. So after importing that library, what we are doing is that we are initializing a tool. There's a specific keyword which is called mcp.tool. This means that right now, below that, we are going to initialize our Nmap tool. So here you can see we have defined a function called Nmap scan. You can give any name you want. And what this function is doing, this function is receiving 3 outputs: the target, the ports, and the flags, right? Then this thing is called docstring. And this thing is very important for your AI to understand what this tool does. So at this point, we need to tell our Claude desktop or any other AI model that what this tool does, right? We have integrated the tool mcp.tool. The name of the tool is mcp_scan, and this docstring is going to explain that AI chatbot, that AI model, that what this tool is supposed to do. So here's just a basic definition that you can run Nmap scan on the target. So we are explaining what target is, what ports are, and what type of basic flags are there. Now these are not just the only flags which your AI model which the Claude desktop is only going to use. This is just to give the Claude desktop an idea that what this flag parameter is going to do. So even if some flag is not mentioned here, this part is just to basically explain the AI that what the purpose of flag parameter is. So if your AI model is well equipped, it is intelligent enough, it can use any other flags on the runtime. And then we are informing him what to return, which is a basically raw Nmap output. And here basically we are running that exec command, and then there is our main definition. So this is, ladies and gentlemen, a very simple MCP server configuration, right? So now coming to the step 2, we need to import that configuration into Claude desktop. So how we can do is very simple. You open your Claude desktop, you go to your settings, developer option, and then here you are going to click edit config. And once you click it, this is going to bring you to a file Claude desktop config.json. Double click on that file, and this is the file which you're going to see. Now here in this case, if you're doing this for the first time, that portion will be empty. You're only going to see this. But I've already added that template in my Claude desktop configuration. Any AI model, ChatGPT, can easily give you that piece of configuration as well. And this is basically very simple. What it is doing is that it is initializing your MCP servers. The MCP server, this name again doesn't matter here, MCP-local. This name is going to basically be shown into your Claude desktop configuration. I'm going to show you later. And these are the two most important things here. First is the command. So we are just giving the command Python, right? And space, here are the arguments which we are going to pass. So essentially, if I show you down here, what we are simply doing, we are giving the command Python. And then to this Python command, we are pasting this argument. So basically, this is a command which we are essentially running, right? So it's not too complicated. So as you can see, this is our basically Claude desktop configuration. Press Ctrl S, save it. And when you open your Claude configuration, you may need to restart your Claude for once. And after creating your MCP server and integrating that MCP server into the configuration of that Claude desktop, you can simply come to Claude. If you click on plus and then you go to the connectors, you can see that there is a tool called nmap-local, and the blue sign means that tool is properly, that connector is properly integrated. And where that name is coming from, nmap-local, we can see this is the name which we are using here. So now at this point, we have successfully created the MCP server for nmap, integrated it to the Claude desktop, and now we can see our Claude desktop has this connector properly installed. Now let's go and test that connector. If I give it the command, ping scan example.com, like just to see that will this work or not. You can see it's loading tools. Maybe if you're doing this for the first time, it is going to ask you the permission to use this nmap tool. But if you allow it, it's not going to ask you again. So here you can see our Claude desktop has successfully only performed the ping scan on this example.com. We know the IP address, the host is up, and the latency. All the things basically which nmap returns in a very beautiful format. Now one thing to note here, I've mentioned here the ping scan, and the flag being used is -sn. If you go to the your doc string of that MCP tool, we have not defined -sn anywhere. As I've said before, this is just to clarify the working of the tool. We do not need to mention the exact flags here. So let's go a bit deeper. Scan top 10 ports on example.com. Let's use famous. We can see it's working. So here you can see after a few seconds, we have got the output of the top 10 famous ports on example.com. So in the same way, if you want to perform a vulnerability, nmap vulnerability scan, or any type of other flags which nmap offers, you can simply use it very easily. So now let's come to the part 2, the second part of this video, which is basically to create the MCP server for your Gmail, for your emails. In the part 3 later, we are going to see how we can use the already pre-built thousands of MCP servers for all of these famous applications. But right now, just focus on creating another custom MCP server for the gmail.com. So as always, in order to integrate the Gmail with the AI chatbot, with the Claude desktop, we have to do 3 things. The first is to generate the MCP server for our Gmail. And the second is to import and to integrate that MCP server configuration for Gmail into Claude desktop. So here's the step 1. Email server.py. It is the MCP server for our Gmail. As you can see, this is my Gmail address and my Gmail application password. Here I'm importing few important libraries, and down there is the actual code which is going to send the email. Again, don't worry, this is not a manual work. You can ask your AI model, ChatGPT, Claude desktop, and they are going to easily provide you with such custom configuration. It's very easy. The second step, you can see here, I've again modified my Claude desktop configuration file, and I've restarted my Claude desktop. And you can see we have, again in the MCP servers, we have a tool called email-server. This is the name which we have chosen in that configuration file. And again, the two most important parameters, one is the command and second is the arguments. So again, it's very simple. First, you initialize your Python, And then as an argument, you provide the path to that MCP server which you want to integrate. It's a very simple thing. Let me see if I have, yes, you can see I have connected my email server as a connector, and the blue tick means it is properly connected. So let me just test it. Email my other Gmail account about current Iran war situation. As you can see, it is searching the web. It has got all the information it required, and now it is sending email. It has loaded the tool, send email, and shortly we will receive the confirmation. So it has shown that email has been successfully sent to my mentioned Gmail address. So in my email client in the Outlook, I can see I have successfully received the email and all the explanation which it provided. So now coming to the third part of the video. Although we have seen that it is very easy to create your own custom MCP servers, you can do it for any tools, you can do it for APIs, for databases, whatever you want. But there's also an option to use the pre-existing MCP servers which the people have already created. So right now, any tool you can imagine, they have definitely created its own MCP server. For example, if you simply Google nmap MCP server, you can find a lot of MCP servers which people have created. In the same way, if you simply Google Gmail MCP server, you're going to find a lot of MCP servers regarding Gmail. So if you do not want to create your own servers, you can simply import their servers and integrate them into the Cloud Desktop configuration. So much so that we have now Kali MCP server as well. So the complete Kali server has its own MCP server. So you do not need to create MCP servers for each individual tools. There is MCP server for the Kali itself. And for example, this write-up explains it pretty well that how you can import that complete configuration into your Cloud Desktop, and then you can easily integrate. So you have basically integrated all of the tools present in the Kali to your Cloud Desktop. And also there are a lot of MCP hubs out there which contains a lot of MCP servers. So you do not need to Google each MCP tool you want. So there are basically the MCP hubs, and they contain a lot of MCP servers. You can simply search here, find your relevant server, download it to your machine, import into your Cloud Desktop, and you're good to go. Also, if you go to ChatGPT in the settings apps, you can find a lot of apps which they call basically connectors, which you can import into your ChatGPT. So your ChatGPT is not just a AI chatbot anymore. It has the actual tools which it can use. Also, if you want to import your custom MCPs, your custom connectors into ChatGPT, you can go to advanced settings, enable the developer option. And what this option do is you to add unverified connectors. Of course, these are custom connectors unverified by ChatGPT. But if you want, you can also import your custom MCP servers, which they call connectors, into the ChatGPT. But again, the requirement is that these custom servers, these custom MCP servers need to connect to ChatGPT in some way, which basically means you need to put them on the live IP, on the some kind of live URL, so that ChatGPT can go and integrate with them directly. So another very useful technique which a lot of people apply is that they use the NA10 MCP server trigger to expose their local NA10 tools. For example, if I click on MCP server trigger, you can see it is going to provide me with the URL. And as this NA10 server is running on the live IP, it is a public URL. I can simply provide that URL to the Cloud Desktop and even the ChatGPT because it is publicly available. And once you have imported and configured that MCP server trigger, then you can import and you can connect some tools with it. For example, if you follow again the same example of the Gmail tool, after clicking it and after configuring it properly, what you can see here is that we have, without any coding and without doing anything manually, we have already access to a tool which can help us in sending the emails, which is the tool here. And also for exposing that tool as an MCP server trigger, we have another node in NA10 called MCP server trigger, which is going to expose that tool as an MCP. So as you can see, if you're not into coding and you want it to keep it very easy and graphical, you can also use NA10. You can use all the tools present in NA10, and you can then expose those tools via MCP to any of your basically AI clients. So now coming to the last and the fourth part of this video, which is to show you how easy it is to import and integrate your Burp suite into your AI chatbot. So lucky for us, in this case, we do not have to write our own custom MCP like we have did before. What we can simply do is to open your Burp suite, come to your B App Store, type here MCP, and you're going to find the MCP server for the Burp suite. Once you install it, you're going to find it here, MCP. Here we can see it is enabled. It is serving on our local host with that specific port. Now, once installing it and enabling it, you're going to click on install to Cloud Desktop, because remember, at this point, we have imported and enabled the MCP server, but we have not imported into the Cloud Desktop yet. So we need to click install to Cloud Desktop. And after that, you will see that that MCP server is now integrated into your Cloud Desktop. And again, the configuration is very simple. We need to execute java.exe and provided two arguments, that one and this one. And here again, we can see the local IP and that port, which we can see in our burp configuration as well. So once it's done, restart your Cloud Desktop. And after that, again, just like before, in the connectors, you will be able to see we are now connected to the burp suite MCP server. And again, let's test it. Send a get request to example.com using burp suite. Here we can say it is loading the tools, and now it is sending the HTTP request to the example.com. We can see the request was sent successfully using burp suite. We can see all the requests and responses and all the key takeaways. So that wraps us this video. We discussed the 4 things. We discussed how to create your own MCP servers, and we practiced it on Nmap and the Gmail. And then we learned how we can use the pre-built MCP servers so that we do not have to reinvent the wheel. And in that case, we practice with the burp suite MCP server as well. If you like the video, please do share it. If you find anything complex or if you need more clarity, please let me know in the comments and we can create a part 2 on it as well. Thank you so much.